very enriching. Now, Kilonzo Patrick, then we can start our case studies.
Thank you, Prof, and good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yeah, mine is to appreciate the feedback we are getting from you. I think that is quite unique, considering those of us who have had the opportunity to do their masters elsewhere. You appreciate the feedback may not be as forthcoming as you are giving us, and we are really looking forward to doing the best to ensure that we don't disappoint, and to put in the grit that you're also putting on your end. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We were looking at case studies, and we are going into specific areas and helping you on how you design a given study. And last week, we spent a lot of time on quantitative analysis. Now I want to take a case study of a qualitative design study in your chapter 3 and how you would construct that study. So allow me to share this with you. And this is from leadership. And the topic is institutional leadership accountability and service delivery performance in county governments in Kenya, a qualitative inquiry. So this is actually the essence of this course, institutional leadership accountability and then service delivery. And all those policies you generate are intended to enhance service delivery. So this chapter 3, presents the methodological framework guiding the study. And just note, when you write 3.0 is research methodology or research methods if you want. But 3.1 is introduction. And introduction from a master's student from Daystar University will and must have the following elements. You will tell us that this chapter represents or presents the methodological framework guiding the study. It outlines the philosophical orientation. Remember, we dealt with that in quantitative studies. Research design, study site, target population, sampling procedures, data collection instruments, trustworthiness criteria, validity and reliability, data analysis strategy, ethical considerations, and methodological limitations. So if you look at what we did last week, the 2 case studies and this one, 3.1 is the same. How you introduce your chapter 3 will be the same for us at Daystar University. Guided by research methods, a functional approach, and this is your class text. So as you write your proposal, your constant reference is your class text. This chapter adopts a functional alignment approach where the research problem, objectives, and questions determine the methodological choices. In other words, we have come with this from chapter 1, where we encountered the research problem. We shaped the objectives and all questions, and now they are speaking through our methodological choices in chapter 3. Since the study seeks to explore leadership accountability, dynamics, and their influence on service delivery performance within devolved governance structures, and you know that devolution in Kenya is the hottest item on the agenda, a qualitative approach is deemed appropriate. Now, allow me to pause there. Why am I saying this? Since the study seeks to explore, once you see this word, not to explain, to explore, exploration, not to explain, but to explore, that one. Since the study seeks to explore, then obviously that tells you this is a qualitative study to explore leadership accountability dynamics and their influence on service delivery performance within the counties. So remember, explain quantitative, explore qualitative. And a good student of research will already have picked that and as they go along. And I want us to be sensitive to that. So which is your research paradigm? 3-2. The study is grounded in the interpretivist, constructivist paradigm. Why? Because this is an exploratory study. Interpretivism assumes that social reality is constructed through shared meanings, institutional norms, and lived experiences. So you'll have to justify your research paradigm. So why are you not a positivist? Why are you a constructivist here? Why are you an interpretivist? Because we assume that the social reality around leadership accountability and performance delivery is constructed through shared meanings at the county level, and their norms and their lived experiences. So the governor in Turkana, and the governor in Muranga, and the governor in Kisumu, they, in terms of leadership accountability and service delivery, you will have to interpret their meaning, their social meaning, their social reality. So Kangata's social reality in Muranga is very different from the governor in Garissa. And that social reality is supposed to be constructed through shared meanings. What does Garissa need most? What does Muranga need? And they have to come together. And what are the norms we are setting for Kakamega County? Like I happen to work very closely with the last regime in Kakamega County. What are the norms did we want in our schools? Did we want Kakamega High School, as you drive in from the main road, to go through that muddy patch? No. So we did the roads and the lighting. And people said county money should not go to basic education. It's supposed to go to ECD centers. But we said, but where are these people? Where are these students coming to Kakamega eventually? Where would they come from? They'll come from the ECDs. So our lived experiences told us, this is how we want, our social reality tells us, this is what we shall do with our schools in Kakamega County. You know, some people have a different social reality constructed based on their norms, social reality that no. Some people can even say, no, you can't get good education in Mandera. So why invest? Our children will be going to national schools down country. That's how you construct your social reality. And that will determine the investment, the objectives, and the development blueprint for a county. So in public administration contexts, leadership accountability is socially mediated through governance cultures, political interactions, and bureaucratic systems. Therefore, understanding how actors interpret accountability mechanisms requires in-depth qualitative engagement. What am I doing here? I am justifying why my research will be qualitative and not quantitative. So this is very important, the research paradigm. You must tell me what is your philosophical underpinning. Are you an interpretivist, constructivist, or are you a positivist, or are you pragmatic? And you must tell me, you see, I'm not just saying I'm going to sit in the paradigm of interpretivism. I'm saying that in public administration context, leadership accountability is socially mediated through governance structures, political interactions, and bureaucratic systems. So you see, again in Kakamega County, for us, constructing Buhungu Stadium was so important. So important in terms of our social reality and for our love of sports and football. So that became a priority. We didn't think of a swimming pool. We would have put there an Olympic-sized swimming pool. But we thought about a stadium because of our interest in soccer and rugby, for example. So, understanding how actors interpret accountability mechanisms requires in-depth qualitative engagement. What is, what is the research design? The study adapts a qualitative multiple case study design. And what is the rationale of case study design? Again, you go to your class text and you read about case study design. And according to Yin 2018, case study design is appropriate when the phenomenon is contemporary, like leadership accountability and service delivery. The researcher has limited control over events. Real life institutional context. Real life institutional context. And we know that county governments in Kenya represent complex governance ecosystems shaped by constitutional devolution under the Constitution of Kenya. So examining leadership accountability within selected counties allows contextualized in-depth exploration. So if you're going to look at leadership accountability and service delivery, we are saying examining leadership accountability within selected counties allows contextualized in-depth exploration. And some of these counties is like day and night. So Muranga County, Kiambu. Kiambu County raises more money than they get from the central government. Day and night. Look at Kiambu County, the magnitude of development. And Kiambu County, don't just limit yourself to Apoju after Githunguri. No, it goes up to Thika. Look at the massive development. Now, if you're going to look at leadership accountability in Kiambu County and service delivery, the model will be very different. What are study sites? Demographics. Just give me 1 minute. There's somebody who's persistently calling. Give me 1 minute to find out what the issue is. Pause there. Kuita mara ingine unakimbia haraka. Asante sana. God bless you.
Yeah, you too.
Sorry. So, 3 county governments will be purposively selected to reflect, purposively selected. And you can see when you start saying you'll select counties purposively, then you are a quantitative researcher because you are looking for information-rich respondents. So selected to reflect variation in geographical location, budget allocation levels, performance index ratings, and the proposed counties, I'm just giving an example, is Nairobi, Kisumu, and Uasin Gishu County. These counties provide contrasting governance and administrative performance context. So I'm trying to say that when you give me a study site, you must rationalize why. Why? Lakini sasa ukienda huko useme no, me I want to do Vihiga, Siaya, and Nandi because they are close together. I don't want to be driving long miles. Look at Vihiga, Siaya, and Nandi. What contrast are you looking for? So you should worry about the study sites and tell us why. Why are you picking Nairobi, Kisumu, and Eldoret? What is your target population? So you must give us, study site is the demographic. What's your target population? This includes county executive committee members, CECs, chief officers, county assembly members, MCAs, directors of key departments, health, finance, public works, and then civil society oversight representatives. So your estimated accessible population will be between 90 and 120 senior public administrators. What will be your sampling procedures? What will be your sampling technique? This is a qualitative study. This is an exploratory study. So you'll have purposive sampling to identify information-rich participants, maximum variation sampling to capture diverse governance perspectives. So Kangata, Anyang and the governor of Nairobi, I've forgotten his name. So, you know,
Akacha.
okay, thank you. You look at these 3 governors, and then when you are within the county, you now apply your theory on sampling and you use snowball sampling to identify key accountability actors. So when you go to a county, you'll interview this person will tell you, no, but I don't have that information. The one you need, you go and see so and so. That is snowballing. Again, your class text. When you meet a term you don't understand, run quickly to your class text and derive meaning from it. The sample size, look at the sample size, approximately 30 to 36 participants. Very kidogo, 10 to 12 per county. So it's not a big deal to go to UG and get sample 10 to 12 people, and then Nairobi, and then Murang'a. Data collection continues until theoretical saturation is reached. And I've given the person whom you'll cite. Very important when you are doing your chapter 3 to cite research authorities. Qualitative research prioritizes depth over statistical generalizability, Ayiro 2024 in your class text. So that's how you get your sample size. Data collection methods. You'll have in-depth semi-structured interviews. Primary data will be collected through face-to-face interviews lasting 60 to 90 minutes. The interview domains will be institutional accountability structures, because remember it's leadership accountability, political, administrative interface, budget transparency processes. After the budget of the county is passed by the county assembly, what happens? There's the budget and economic forum, and then allocations through the assembly, then people begin to use that money. Performance contracting mechanisms and barriers to effective delivery. So your interview schedule will have all that. You'll also have to do, in a qualitative study, a lot of document analysis. Documents to be reviewed. You'll have to look at county integrated development plans. You'll have to look at the finance bill in Kenya. You have to look at Auditor General reports, performance contracts, county budget implementation reports, and document analysis enhances triangulation. In other words, if you want to bring out the truthfulness of these documents, then you do document analysis, because you find out, what does the CIDP for Nairobi County say? What about the Auditor General report about Nairobi County in the last financial year? How about the implementation level? So these documents speak to each other and allow you to say whether one of those documents is not living up to the expectations. That's what Bowen is telling us there. 373, focus group discussions. These are optional, but very important. Where feasible, you'll have one focus group discussion per county, with middle-level administrators will be conducted to validate emerging themes. So once you've collected data, it will be good to bring officers, 12 of them, for example, and start telling them the findings here were this, what do you think, and so on. So you do a focus group discussion. Data collection procedure, ethical clearance from the University Institutional Review Board, and DASTA we have one. Research authorization from the National Commission for Science, Technology and Innovation. Introductory letters to county governors' offices. Scheduling and conducting interviews. Audio recording with consent, even pictures with consent. And then verbatim transcription. Once you've picked what they have told you, now transcribe the responses verbatim. Trustworthiness of the study to ensure rigor. The study adopts Lincoln and Guba's criteria. By the way, I had the privilege to work with Lincoln at Texas A&M, one of the top authorities in qualitative studies. And she convinced me to change my mind and give a lot of respect to qualitative analysis. 391, credibility, member checking, prolonged engagement, triangulation, interviews and documents, transferability, thick contextual description, detailed institutional profiles, and this must be true if I came to do the same interview in that county after you have left. Dependability, audit trail, peer debriefing, confirmability, reflexive journaling, writing everything as you go, data source triangulation, what did the chief finance officer tell me, and what is the budget control person telling me? So these procedures align with qualitative rigor principles outlined in Ayiro 2024. So your class text must be next to you as you are drafting your proposal for defense. Data analysis strategy, the study will employ thematic analysis, Brown and Clark 2006. And the steps, I hope you are familiar with this. Familiarization with transcripts, initial coding, development of code categories, generating themes, cross-case comparison, and development of analytical narratives from each of those counties. And you can use the NVivo software in coding and pattern recognition. So there is a software. If you bring your transcribed edits, it will code it for you and it will give you the themes, the patterns that are coming out of these 3 counties that you're looking at in terms of leadership accountability and service delivery. Analytical framework, I hope you'll have talked about this in your literature review. The analysis will be guided by institutional theory, principal agent theory, public value theory. So you have the theories there. Here you don't mention them in detail because you'll have covered them in your chapter 2. So these frameworks will structure interpretation of leadership accountability and service delivery performance. So anytime you talk about leadership accountability and service delivery performance, we will be asking you, have you incorporated the thinking of the institutional theory, the principal agent theory, and the public value theory? Then there is cross-case synthesis to identify among these 3 counties convergent accountability patterns, context-specific divergences, and institutional constraints. I gave you the contrast. When I learned that Siaya was struggling with the budget revenue on their own collection of about 300 million. And I'm talking about context-specific divergences. When you come to Kiambu, we are talking about 5-point-something billion. And I got scared. Then I asked myself, how much does the central government therefore give Siaya County? How much? And then I said, my God, but Siaya, even Daystar, when I came in 2019, the annual budget was about 800 million. Today, our annual budget is 2.6 billion. So I was very worried. I was very worried. How is the tax collection regime in Siaya and Vihiga? Even Vihiga has those miserable figures. And then how do we hope to leverage on devolution? We'll never catch up with Muranga and Kiambu. Then we will be bringing ethnic sentiments. But you see the realities that confront us. Look at Mombasa, 001. All the wealth that comes into Kenya passes through that county. If we had the right governance, and Mombasa would be Singapore, you didn't have to go to Singapore. Hapo to Mombasa. Ethical considerations, informed consent, voluntary participation, we talked about this. Confidentiality, you have coded identifiers so that people don't know who gave you this information. Secure digital storage, anonymization of politically sensitive disclosures so that people don't, say it's so and so and so on. And given the political sensitivity of governance research, care will be taken to protect participants from reputational risk. Very, very important. And it's very interesting, by the way, that during Honorable Paranya's regime in Kakamega County, and I was the chair of the Budget and Economic Forum, our CEE for finance was a non-Luya. In fact, he was a Kikuyu, and I'm not being tribal. We wanted neutrality in that office. And just look at how much that did for us as we went along. Limitations of the study, you'll have to tell us. Political sensitivity may limit openness. Access constraints to high-level officials, very hard to get those governors and CEs. And potential response bias, they'll want to tell you what they want you to hear. And that's why triangulation becomes important. So mitigation measures against limitations, assurance of confidentiality, neutral interview posture, and triangulation of documentary evidence. What are the delimitations? The study focuses on county-level executive leadership. It is only picking selected departments, and 3 counties only were considered. 3 out of 47. You cannot generalize your findings. Generalizability becomes a problem. And the study does not cover national government ministries. Then you'll summarize your chapter. This chapter has articulated a qualitative multiple case study methodology designed to explore institutional leadership accountability and service delivery performance within Kenya's devolved governance framework. Anchored in interpretivist epistemology and guided by Ayiro's functional methodological alignment, the study integrates interviews and document analysis to produce context-sensitive insights into public administration effectiveness. And then the key references, you'll put them per chapter, but then you'll carry them up to the end in your appendix. And that ends that case study, where now we are engaging in a qualitative study. And our philosophical underpinning is interpretivism as the paradigm. We are going to pause for 5 minutes break. It's 7:25. But then I want us to spend some time interrogating this presentation of chapter 3. Remember last time we were looking at quantitative, now we are looking at qualitative, and I'm showing you how you'll package your chapter 3 depending on your philosophical orientation. Over to you, Dr. Mwaka. So we resume at 7:35, but meanwhile, start picking questions or comments or worries so that we can deal with them. Thank you. Meshak, are you there?
Thank you, Prof. I know Dr. Moka might have stepped out a bit. So as Prof has said, let's take our break. We come back at 7:35. You can be putting your questions in the chat. I'll read them out as we begin when Prof comes back.
Is Nazarene on this call?
Yes, I think I can see Dr. here.
Yes, I'm
Dr.
here,
Nazarene?
Prof.
Yeah. So I'll want you to come in after the break to amplify, emphasize, encourage. So I want you to start being participatory in my classes because you are my technical assistant.
All right, Professor.
Guys, if you're going for science fair, can you be in the lab?
Kindly mute yourselves. Kindly mute yourselves. I think we have a teacher
Come
on
and use
duty.
this space.
Thank you very much. Benson Mutembei, I think. Please mute yourself.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem.
So tell the rest to come to this lab.
Hello, how are you? Yeah. Hi, everyone. Is Benson, you were talking? Benson, were you talking? Mishak? Hello, Mishak? Even my side that kuna.
We can hear you.
Yes. Was there a question? Did I miss on a question? I just gone out to get some water.
No, we've taken a break. We are
Okay.
resuming at 7:36.
Okay, no problem.
Hello. Hello. I think we can come back. And
That's
Dr.
okay.
Mwaka, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you so
before
much.
you-
Yeah.
okay.
Is Prof in or is Nazarene
Oh,
you're picking just before Prof comes in?
Prof had indicated that I take this this moment to encourage and sort of have a conversation around the experience of writing. And at this level, first I want to say a good evening to everybody. And thank you, Dr. Mwaka. Thank you, Professor, for giving me this opportunity to speak to the process and today very specifically around the issues of writing a qualitative research. So allow me to just encourage you with a few truths, team. Qualitative research is not easier. In reality, it is deeper. So you're not just collecting data and forwarding it to somebody to analyze it for you. You're actually entering into people's lived experiences. You are interpreting meaning based on your own experience and the experience that you find in the field. You're holding complexity. Because in reality, human experiences are really simple and neat. They're not numbers. You're managing your positionality. And when I refer to positionality, what am I saying? I'm saying who you are, your background, your culture, your gender, your profession, your beliefs, even your very own lived experiences will contribute and shape how you interpret this data, what you notice, your biases, what you consider important, and even how your participants will respond to you. So the reality of, for example, qualitative approaches or qualitative research is that you do not enter the research as neutral. You don't enter it as a blank state. You're being aware of your biases, or you're reflecting on how your identity will influence your interpretation. You're not imposing your assumptions onto participants, You're being transparent about where you stand regarding what you're reporting on. So you're going to bring the whole person into your research. So that means it goes deeper and it influences even you. You acknowledge your role as the research instrument. You reflect on your relationship with the topic. You demonstrate what we call reflexive awareness. You are alive to what you are doing in qualitative research. And as you're writing, feeling confused is normal. I hear you asking Dr. Mwaka, how many pages? You ask also, Professor, how many pages are we writing? How many words is it going to, take for us to complete the assignment? Writing methodology, it can be confusing because you're not sure whether it's detailed enough, whether you're too descriptive, whether you've justified your design properly. So, and you're not even sure what, if you're asked difficult question, what to answer. So this tension means you're thinking critically. So that means you're growing. When you're having all of these questions coming up, it means you're thinking deeper. And so that is a good thing. So sit with that discomfort. And chapter 3 is not about perfection. It's really just about clarity of how you intend to conduct your study. So you want to state your research design very clearly, whether it is phenomenology, whether it is a case study, whether it's grounded theory, whether it's a narrative inquiry, whichever approach you're taking, you want to have to really state it clearly so that anybody who reads your work understands it from the way you understand or you intend to conduct it. So that's the one goal that you have as you're writing your chapter 3. So you must read very, very widely. Utilize particularly the course text. Read other people's work, particularly people who have, for example, Professor, look for his work, look for writings he has written. Look for authorities that speak to research design before you even start writing. Seek to explain your sampling strategy in a way that it can be understood. Sometimes write it, write it again, read it aloud, and be the recipient of that information and see, is this strategy clear? And describe your data collection methods. What am I saying with all of this information? Read, and read some more. When Professor gives you 2-3 pages of, some guidelines or corrections, use that as your foundation and then expound on it, because he's giving you probably like an eighth of what you're supposed to do. So build on that and believe that you're able to do that. Now that you have a launching, you have a launching pad. And you want to, in your chapter 3, you want to address the issues of trustworthiness, credibility, dependability, conformability, transferability. You want to explain your ethical considerations. So you have to have understood them very, very well. So read. You cannot write without reading. And your writing is as good as your reading. Your writing shows its goodness, its excitement, its taste in the depth of your reading. So you want to build transparency in your writing, because that's what your examiners are looking for. Even as they're asking you these questions, they are looking for how transparent is your work.
Temporarily out of service.
All right?
Samahani.
You want to learn to defend your choices. How do you defend your choices if you've not understood them with excellence? The conversation today was about grit. And I want to just add on top of that hardiness, so that you have read and read and read. You become the expert of your own piece of work. You want to be able to defend why this approach, why these participants. For example, Professor was asking about 3 counties that are just nearby. What's the value of doing that, a study that, the 3 counties are quite similar. You want to defend your choice of participants. You want to defend your analysis method. That means you have to really, really have dug into it and concretized your understanding around that. And every paragraph you write, colleagues, I want to encourage you, will strengthen your scholarly voice. The more you write, the more you read, the stronger you become in writing. So you belong to this space. Feed in on your coursework all this month. These months that you've been doing your coursework, and if you're still continuing to do that, feed on to the information that you establish from these spaces. Read extensively. I'm not sure I can repeat this enough times. Think deeply. This is your time to dig in to your ability and capacity to think, to analyze, to question, and be engaged and engage critically with literature. I've seen a very interesting approach that Professor uses, and this class is extremely. And I think the cohorts that are taught research by Professor, that he teaches you how to annotate through assignments. He teaches you how to write summaries. He teaches you how to think through material and give. I still remember the 500-page that became the 50-page document. That's what you're being formed into being. So you're capable of doing that. So take it a section by section. Don't write chapter 3 all at once. Write a section well, read it, and integrate this information with yourself in such a way, even if you don't have your document, you can actually defend it. So welcome to this space.
Yeah.
And you can do this. Thank you very much, Professor, for the opportunity.
Thank you. Well articulated, the value of reading, grit, and the Joseph principle. So you'll get public adoration if you prepare adequately. And I want to look at the 3rd case study for today, so that our next session will be a wrap-up seminar, and now you can go into the chapter.
Shakir? help me out? Check, Mishak.
Yeah. It is Mary Njambi.
Doc, I
Somebody.
don't have the co-host, right? Please. You could make me a co-host, Doc, please.
Now, I would like,
Sorry for that.
we have now looked at the two case studies in quantitative data, one case study in qualitative methodology, constructivist approach. I can suspect out of this whole class, maybe if we stretch a lot, maybe 2% would go purely qualitative, and another 10% purely quantitative. But the majority of you will go the mixed methods way, for reasons that will become apparent as we go along. I therefore would like to look at the mixed methods, but the case study I have for the mixed methods is really from the health sector. I would have loved to have the nursing cohort students on this call, because this would really help them, although it is useful to all of us. And I thought I'd asked that I wanted them to be in attendance this evening. So I want us to look at this involves the health sector, but I think the most important thing is the mixed methods study. And I want you to, today we seem to be very busy.
Dr. Maka, Dr. Carol, please make me a co-host. I'll help with muting. Thank you.
Yeah, you have a question?
I'm saying there's too much interference. Huh?
Yeah, that is why I'm requesting Dr. Mwaka, please make me a co-host. I'll help with muting.
Okay, thanks. Now, Meshach, if you could list for me
Yes, Prof.
10 readers.
Okay.
Because I would like to do a lot of explanation. I don't want to read and explain. Munachi, your hand is up.
Okay.
Yes.
Prof, we had a list of readers from your previous class who never made it to read. If you could allow, we could have them as the first batch.
Yeah, I have no
requests.
problem. Those
we
are
preserve
mechanics.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I want the class to note this. I am actually giving you the blueprint for chapter 3. We have looked at a positivist paradigm study, and we have also looked at a qualitative study, interpretivist, and now I want us to look at a mixed methods study, and we'll send you all these cases. Next week, I'll be looking at purely case studies as a form of study. I'll also look at ethnographic studies, because many of you will do, even if you do a mixed method study, the qualitative aspect will be ethnographic. And I would like my students to be familiar with that. So can we have reader number 1 who will take the first, the second, and the third slides?
Oh, Yeah, Prof. Juliet Otieno, are you in class? Juliet Otieno? If not, we can have Christine Munachi,
Yes, I'm in.
Nairoshi
Thank you.
NSK. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's
I'm
go.
in. Chapter 3, Research Methodology, Influence of Nurse Leadership Practices on Patient Safety Outcomes in Public Tertiary Hospitals in Kenya, a mixed method study. Okay. 3.1, Introduction. This chapter presents the methodological architecture of the study. It outlines the research paradigm, design, target population, sampling procedures, instrumentation, validity and reliability procedures, data collection methods, data analysis plan, quantitative and qualitative strands, integration strategy, ethical considerations, and methodological limitations.
Thank you. Let's pause there. You'll come back, Munachi. But look at 3.1 introduction. Whether you are doing qualitative, quantitative, or mixed methods, the methodological architecture of the study is the same. I want you to note this, that there's no way you can do a master's in data or a PhD when you don't tell us the research paradigm within which you are situating your study. I also want you to note that since this is a mixed methods study, you will have quantitative quant and qualitative qual aspects of the study. But very important, very, very important for me to show the difference in your familiarization with research methods is very, very important to me is the integration. The integration strategy. So remember, you're going to have both qualitative and quantitative strands. And we will be interested in you telling us, how do you integrate the data? How do you even integrate the methodology? Is it sequential? Is it concurrent? Is it embedded as we move along? So that's very important. Continue.
Consistent with methodological rigor articulated by educational research methods, a functional approach, this chapter adopts a structured functional approach where research questions determine design, instrumentation, and analytic procedures. The study employs a mixed method approach, integrating quantitative and qualitative techniques to achieve complementarity, triangulation, and expansion. That is Crewell and Plano Clark, 2018, Tashakori and Tedley, 2010.
Yeah. So it is very, very important that why do we integrate quantitative and qualitative techniques? Very important. The essence of integration is to achieve complementarity, triangulation, and expansion. So the data that you get will complement each other in revealing the problem that you are undertaking. It will also cause triangulation just to increase the veracity of the pronouncements that are given, and then it will be a more rigid and expanded study. And I expect this narrative for most of you, because most of you are going to sit in the paradigm of mixed methods. Reader number 2.
Nairoshi, you are next.
Thank you, Prof. 3.2, research paradigm. The study is anchored in the pragmatic research paradigm, which supports methodological pluralism and prioritizes research questions over methodological purity. That is Creswell and Creswell 2018. Pragmatism allows the integration of numerical data, that is patient safety indicators, with narrative data, in bracket leadership experiences, aligning with Ayiro's 2024 functional alignment principle, where methods follow problem logic.
Yeah, pause there. This study is anchored in the pragmatic research paradigm. Remember, qualitative, constructivist or interpretivist, quantitative, positivist paradigm. This one is pragmatic. And why is it pragmatic? Just pragmatism is being rational. It supports methodological pluralism and prioritizes research questions over methodological purity. So instead of saying, I am a qualitative researcher, or me, I'm a quantitative researcher, because you want to remain pure in quotes, a pragmatic approach prioritizes research questions. And our whole endeavor is to answer those research questions. And so, when I work in this study I did with, I think it was Koskei, a medical doctor, he was doing his PhD in Moi. We went and were taking statistics on the morbidity and mortality of tuberculosis in Kericho County. We went to the hospitals, the dispensaries, we took data on the number, the type of drugs, and the volume of drugs being given to patients. We took count of the patients coming to the hospitals and their age demographics. And the morbidity and mortality arising out of tuberculosis continued. So we said, the statistics are not giving us a solution. These people, yes, are taking drugs. They are taking nutritional support that was given with the drugs. But the mortality and morbidity seems not to be changing. So obviously, a quantitative approach alone did not give us a solution. We thought of ways, are they not swallowing the drugs, etc. So we went and did a qualitative study, set up questionnaires, and we visited homes. And we found, for example, a grandfather or a grandmother telling us, yes, I'm given the drugs to treat tuberculosis. And the food they give me, the nutritional supplements. But how do I take these supplements when my grandchildren are starving? After all, my days on this earth are very limited. So, because they were not able to eat, or even if they took the drugs, the efficacy of those drugs didn't hold. And you can see the cry, the voice now we got from qualitative data. We say that most patients, even if they're given rations of food, they don't take the food because they are supporters. And you know, HIV, AIDS, and tuberculosis were closely related. And so these people don't get cured. Now you see here, we became pragmatic and we supported methodological pluralism. Let us do both quantitative and qualitative. And let us answer the research questions and not say we are quantitative or we are qualitative just to uphold methodological purity. So pragmatism then allowed the integration of numerical data, the statistics from the dispensaries, patient safety indicators, drug distribution, with narrative data, the experiences these patients, in this case, this is around leadership, but the experiences those patients had. And this is called functional alignment principle, where method follows problem logic. And that's why it is a pragmatic approach. Do the next slide, the same reader.
3.3, research design.
Can I ask a
Bullet 1, the
question?
study adapts a convergent parallel mixed method design. Rationale, quantitative strand measures statistical relationships between nurse leadership practices and patient safety outcomes. Qualitative strand explores contextual leadership dynamics influencing safety culture. Both strands are collected concurrently and integrated at interpretation. This design allows collaboration and complementarity, that is Crosswell and Plano, Clark 2018.
Thank you. Very good reading. Now, you are not from Daystar. You're not going to come and tell me the research adapted a mixed methods design. I want more. Look at this. The study adapts a convergent parallel mixed methods design. And we did this in our class. What does this mean? Quantitative strand measures the statistical relationship between nurse leadership practices and patient safety outcomes. So quantitatively, the qualitative strand explores contextual leadership dynamics influencing safety culture. So this nurse, is she relational? Is she a good communicator? Is she empathic? Can she pull out the struggles a patient is having? So both strands, the quantitative and the qualitative, are collected concurrently and then integrated at interpretation. So we get the qualitative data on leadership dynamics influencing safety culture. Then we get the quantitative data on the relationship between nurse leadership practices and patient safety outcomes. And then we bring them together and interpret them. That is our research design. What am I saying? We shall not be vague. We shall not be naive. We shall not say we are adopting a mixed methods design. I want you to go into your class text and look at the various forms of designs under mixed methods. Next reader.
Prof, I have a question. SK? Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
you have a question? Please go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to get a clear difference between, is there a difference between research paradigm and philosophical underpinnings?
No. No. What is a paradigm? A paradigm is a philosophy. So at this level, just take it that philosophical underpinning or your research paradigm, you are saying the same thing at this level, but at an advanced level, you're saying something very different. If I asked you, what is your research? What is your religion or religious philosophy? So the philosophy could be Protestant. You are either a Protestant or a Catholic or a Muslim, or you uphold Judaism. That is your religious philosophy. But what paradigm do you operate at? So Ayiro is Pentecostal. My other friend is Baptist or Anglican. We all have the religious philosophy of being Protestant. Of being Protestants. But when it comes to paradigms, that is sharper focus, then I am definitely Pentecostal. So I believe in spiritual captivation and so on and so forth. I am not regimented like the Anglican or the Methodist, but we are all Protestants. That doesn't quite fit what I want to say, but as you go on with research at PhD levels, you not just talk about your philosophical underpinning, you will then enter the paradigm. And when you are in the paradigm, you'll be telling me the safety in terms of complementarity, the safety in terms of triangulation, and the safety in terms of validity. Does that shine some light?
Thank you. It does. Asante.
Okay, thank you. Next reader.
Okay, SK, could you allow Juliet to go first, then you come later, kindly. So Juliet Otieno.
3.4 study location. The study will be conducted in level 5 and level 6 public referral hospitals in Kenya, including facilities in Nairobi, Kisumu, Eldoret. These institutions provide high patient volumes and complex clinical services, making them appropriate context for patient safety research.
Yeah. So I hope you're noticing the demographics. Why the study location? You must have some justification to tell us why. Tell us where is your location, but why? So this fellow wants to sample level 5 and level 6 public referral hospitals in Nairobi, Kisumu, and Eldoret. Why? Because they provide high patient volumes. Those of us who go to MTRH in Eldoret or Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Hospital in Kisumu or Kenyatta Hospital in Nairobi, they have high patient volumes and complex clinical services, making them appropriate context for patient safety research. So you must justify your study location. Continue, the same reader.
Three 3.5 target population. The target population includes registered nurses in medical, surgical, pediatric, and maternity unit. 2, nurse managers and ward in charges. 3, hospital quality assurance officers. Esteemed population, 1,200 nurses across selected hospitals.
Did you say esteemed or estimated?
Sorry, estimated.
Thank you. 1,200 nurses across the selected hospitals. A good research student will notice, oh my God, the other one we have just done on counties, qualitative, the population was very small because we are looking for informant-rich respondents. But this one, we have a quantitative aspect. So it is very important that the population allows us to carry a sample that is representative of the bigger population. Next reader.
Excuse me, Prof.
Yeah.
I have a question, please.
Okay, here.
Yeah. Is it right when you fail to mention the study location at the title, but
I
then
can't hear
you come
you.
and
Come again.
okay, asking,
Yeah.
is it right when you fail to mention the study location at the title part, but now you come and mention it at 3.4 level targets, I mean the study location?
Yeah. Thank you. Very good question. I have discouraged my students to load the topic just to look knowledgeable. I always tell my students, you don't have to squeeze in Nairobi County, Kisumu, Eldoret in your topic. Because you have space. You have space in chapter 1 under delimitation, scoping, to tell us where the study will be. You also have space in chapter 3 under study location. So mbono unarundikiza hizo vitu zote in your title up there. And then somebody in China stops being interested when you start saying conducted in Mavoko and Kitui County. And yet, that research is universal. So that's a very good question. Exploit the scope or the delimitation in chapter 1 to tell us where the study will be. And then also, when you are bringing us when you are giving birth to your population in chapter 3, talk to us about it under study location. Does that shed some light? Yeah?
Yeah, answer. Thank you.
Okay. Next, reader.
Another question.
Okay, Madai, are you here?
I have a question.
Oh, sorry, questions.
Yeah. Yeah, good
Another
evening.
question on the same, Prof. Last time, okay, we attended some of the defense, proposal defense that are ongoing within the university. Then there was one question that kept on lingering that actually resonate very well with my topic. The population, the target population, and the sample population. So of course, I knew the target as well as the sample, but now the population itself also kept on the teacher, the lecturer keep on asking about what was your population. In this case, where we have got target population, probably 1,200 nurses, then we have got, we will get a sample out of that. What is now our population now? How do we then come to defend the word population and not target?
You know, population is universal. And you have a problem, you had a problem, or the ones who are defending had a problem, because they have not stated the unit of analysis in chapter 3. What is your unit of analysis? If you walk into a school, who is your target population? Is it the teachers? Is it the parents? Is it the leadership? Is it the students? That's your target population. But what is your population? Samples from whom we shall, I mean, the universal population from whom we shall get our sample. And I like the questions that are coming, very, very intelligent questions. So what is your population? What is your target population? You are simply being asked, what is your unit of analysis? Yeah. So notice that the estimated population is 1,200 nurses. But the population, the target population, the target population here, the target population, this one, sorry, the target population here will be registered nurses in medical, surgical, pediatric, and maternity units, nurse managers and ward charges, and hospital quality assurance officers. So that is your target population. But by the way, there are also other nurses who are not registered nurses. They are nurses, but you will not collect data from them. They are not your target population, but they are the overall population. Are we together? So if I were you, I should be looking at what is a population, what is the unit of analysis, therefore, what is my target population?
Thank you, Prof.
Next. Yeah. Next. Reader.
Okay, Prof, before the next reader, I feel like Abraham had a question. I saw him unmute the mic. Abraham, do you want to ask the question quickly?
No, I'm okay. I've just said thank
Actually,
you.
it
My
was
question is well answered.
Okay, thank you. Perfect. Next
Meshack.
reader, do we have? Yes, Jacqueline?
This is Jacqueline. I was the one who was seeking for clarification when we were writing this chapter 3, whether we are just supposed to write in point form the way these slides are appearing, or we are writing in prose form, and whether we are supposed to have some additional notes in this one, like when I talk of a quantitative strand, then we have sampling technique. Is there anything that I should add to that, or it is just in this point form, please?
No, thank you, and I'm glad you're bringing this up because this is a seminar. These are my points of reference, but I don't expect your chapter 3 to be disseminated, to be fragmented. Ideally, chapter 3 should be written in continuous prose, but there's no harm in bulleting or putting in Roman 1, Roman 2, Roman 3 like this one. But it is not a fragmented chapter. Yeah? So what you're now telling me is that in the seminar next week, I'll bring you a chapter 3 written, in continuous prose. And that's what we expect. You are becoming a philosopher. So we want to see how you thread your mind and your ideas into some readable output. But good question. Next.
Winter, please take it up. I think SK is not in the call. Winter? Winter Ochieng.
Call somebody else because of time.
Okay. Beryl, take it up.
Okay. Sampling procedures. Sampling technique, stratified random sampling by department. Sample size determination using Crazy and Morgan 1970 formula. Estimated sample 291 nurses.
Yeah. Now, the Juliet has just asked a question. You see, Juliet, I'm now assuming that you have become part of my congregation. And the congregation is called Budding Researchers. So when I bullet sampling technique, stratified random sampling, I don't want to, you will give the details on how you did the random sampling in your description for the quantitative strand. You will tell us how you determine your sample using Krejci and Morgan 1970 formula, and you'll give the table. And then you will tell us the confidence level that was used in establishing this table. And then you will show us, since the population is this, from this table, the estimated sample is this. You see, now I'm consoled that I have lifted you to another level. We are almost in the skies. We are not on the ground or in the valley. No, we are not there. We have a language ourselves. We understand. Yeah, so it's like when I say, please go and lie down in the green pastures. In this class, we understand what I'm saying. Don't start asking me, what are these green pastures? Is it Napier grass or is it Kikuyu grass? Or which one is this? Next reader. I mean, continue. I think you continue. You've just started. Go on. Are you there?
Very live here.
Yes, I'm there. Qualitative strand, sampling technique, purposive sampling. Participants, 15 nurse managers, 10 senior clinical nurses. Sampling continues until data saturation achieved. Guess et al. 2006.
Yeah. The data saturation just means you reach the threshold. If it was quantitative, you have told us how you stratified, how you got your 291 nurses, and purposive sampling. How did you get your participants, the 15 nurse managers? Did you do snowballing? Did you do clustering and then did some sampling? You will tell us the details until you get the needed sample for your analysis. Next reader.
Sophie, the
Variables,
names are on the chart. Okay, please continue.
variables of the study: independent variable, nurse leadership practices, transformational leadership, communication effectiveness, team empowerment, accountability culture.
Yeah. So who are these independent variables? How would you describe them? Who are these independent variables? And just a minute, I hope I won't lose you. Our topic is influence of nurse leadership practices on patient safety outcomes. So now we are when we talk about variables, we are actually looking at the nurse leadership practices. The transformation leader, is she transformational? How about her level of communication? How about team empowerment? How about accountability culture? Those are your independent variables. These are the stimulus. These are the cause. These are the influencers. And when we say these are the influencers, the stimulus, we are saying these are the ones that give us patient safety outcomes. Those leadership practices are the ones that give us patient safety outcomes. Next reader. No, the same reader, sorry, you just read.
Dependent variable, patient safety outcomes, medication error rates, hospital-acquired infections, patient fall rates, incident reporting frequency. Control variables, years of experience, nurse to patient ratio, level of training.
Yeah. And I hope, tuko pamoja, we are now looking at the independent and dependent variables. This cause and effect must be the quantitative aspect of our study. Next reader.
3.8 research instruments. 3.81 quantitative instruments. Multi-factor leadership questionnaire, that is MLQ, adapted. Hospital patient safety indicators checklist. Structured demographic questionnaire.
Yeah. MLQ. Don't try and start in your excitement and unbridled enthusiasm. Don't start trying to develop questionnaires of your own. Go to SurveyMonkey as a database and give your subject area, give your independent and dependent variables, and they will give you a validated tool to use in your study. I rarely encourage my students to try and develop tools because of validity issues, construct validity, external, and others. So why don't we pick a questionnaire that is already validated and we just adapt it to our situation? The checklist, hospital patient safety indicators checklist, is universal. And then a structured demographic questionnaire, the age, the education, the experience. These are also standard questionnaires. So if you want to get a valid result, I would advise at master's level, don't try to construct questionnaires. Because when I test them, even for simple Cronbach's alpha standing, it will collapse. And therefore, you're not measuring what you're supposed to measure. Be cautious of that. Next reader. You don't have a reader?
Daisy Chepkurui, the names are on the chat. Please keep checking. Daisy. All right. If Daisy is not available, John and Diva.
3.82.
I'm there, kindly.
Yeah, you better be there, my friends, because those A's will not come easily without class participation. And you know I'm going to mark your chapter 1, 2, and 3, and I'm also going to give you a multiple choice exam. It is the one on leadership that we have a different evaluation mechanism. Yeah. Go ahead, the lady.
3.82. Qualitative instruments. Semi-structured interview guide. Focus group discussion protocol. Interview domains. Leadership decision making. Safety culture. Incident response processes. And barriers to safe practice.
Just a minute. Give me a minute. It's very important that we get to understand this. I don't think this came out clearly. I didn't want it like that. So that should not have been continuous bullets as such. I expected this to be that, yeah. All right. All right. So come again. Qualitative instruments. You're lost. Are you there? Oh. Somebody else take over.
Qualitative instruments.
I think.
Semi-structured interview domain. A. T culture. C. Incident response processes. D. C.
No.
D. Barrier to
I don't know whether it's me, but
Daisy, we are struggling to hear you.
Ishak, you might want to pick up someone if she can.
John,
Maybe if
Diva,
I
please
may,
take it.
kindly.
Somebody else, please, quickly.
3.82.
Yeah.
Qualitative instruments. Semi-structured interview guide. Focus group discussion protocol. Interview domains, that is leadership decision making. B. Safety culture. C. Incident response process. D. Barriers to safe practice.
Yeah. So those are the aspects that your questionnaire will carry. You'll be asking questions on that as your interview domains. But you have to have a semi-structured interview guide and the focus group discussion protocol. Next reader.
Okay, 3.9 pilot study. The pilot will be conducted in one level 4 hospital, not included in the main study. 30 respondents, that is 10% of sample. Refinement of tools for clarity and internal consistency.
Yeah. So we know at our level now, we know the pilot will not be done where we are going to collect data. We are at level 5 and 6, but this one we are going to level 4, and we pick 10% of the sample. Why are we doing a pilot? To refine the tools, to make sure that people understand the questions the way we are asking them, and there is internal consistency within the tool, so that somebody doesn't understand the question differently from another one. So you clarify and attain internal consistency. Carry on.
I have a question kindly.
Yes.
On pilot study, say you are carrying out a case study, do you need to carry out a pilot study too?
Yeah. Why are we doing a pilot study? Is for tool clarity and refinement. So you still have to do a pilot study. And it is safer to do a pilot study all the time. You'll be surprised how people misunderstand what the questions are asking. So it doesn't matter whether this was a mixed method study or it was a case study, because a case study is also a strategy in the research design. Next.
Excuse me, Prof.
I also
Yeah.
have a question, Prof.
Okay.
Yeah, allow me
Yes,
to interrupt. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Prof. I wanted to find out the reason why we are going to level 4 hospital when we are doing our pilot study. Yet earlier on, when we were talking about our study location, we chose level 5 and 6 because of the refinement of this institution. They had maybe complex clinical services and the nature of this institution. But when we go to level 4, are we not going down? So I thought if we could go to another level 5 or 6, but a different hospital, which will not be part of our study.
Yeah, you see, why are we in level 5 and 6? These institutions provide high patient volumes and complex clinical services, making them appropriate context for patient safety research. That is not the motive of a pilot study. The pilot study, the motive of a pilot study essentially is refinement of the tools. Are they going to measure what they're supposed to measure? And you have to be very careful there. There is no problem. If you found another level 5 in your vicinity, that would be okay. But you want this tool to be a stranger, particularly for you also, the person collecting the data. You are trying to eliminate any biases to say, but at level 5 and 6, I expect to get this. No. Does this tool still hold true if you took it to a level 4 hospital?
Thank you.
Yeah, good. Next.
3.10 validity and reliability. Quantitative validity. Content validity. Expert panel review. Nursing scholars, hospital administrators. Construct validity. Factor analysis. Criterion validity. Correlation with hospital safety reports. 3.10.2 reliability. Crunchbacks alpha greater than 0.70 acceptable threshold. Test retest reliability 2 weeks interval.
Very good. And this is very important. when you are doing quantitative validity, you must test the content validity of your instruments. And the only way you know whether the instruments are actually measuring what they're supposed to measure is to have an expert panel review. Nursing scholars and hospital administrators ask them, is this tool going to measure this? Or the way it is, what is it going to measure? And they will refine the tool. And then there is construct validity. Fact analysis, I promised, and please somebody remind me, I wanted to use my evaluation, my pilot for the CBC to teach you what a fact analysis does in terms of raising the validity of the tools. It's a very simple statistical procedure, but I would like you to mention this if you are doing a serious study. I would like you to tell us that to get construct validity, I did a fact analysis, and what does it entail? And then criterion validity, that is just correlation with hospital safety reports that you'll have gotten from the sampled population. So again, we just don't talk about validity uko juju. No, we go into our text, we go into our class text, we go into journal articles, and we understand what is content validity, what is construct validity, what is criterion validity, not to impress the panel of examiners during your defense, but the Joseph principle. Reliability, can it hold? If I did this in level 5 in Nyanza, can it hold in level 5 in Central Province? So you measure Cronbach's alpha with greater than or equal to 0.7 as the acceptable threshold value. I like test retest reliability. After you've done your pilot in a place, you'll go after 2 weeks interval and do it again and see whether the instrument is still reliable. So these are the discussions I would like to see in your chapter 3, and I'm going to mark your chapter 3. So I want to see these discussions. I want to be lifted in my spirit that these hours we have spent together have truly caused formation in you. That's what I'm saying. And I want somebody to challenge Daystar, the preparation of their postgraduate students. All these classes are recorded for evidence. Somebody should come and say, did Ayiro really teach you go through research methodology chapter 3? I want somebody to challenge, how did one supervisor go through 145 proposals? It is on record. My responses in red are in every proposal. So we are a serious university. And my hope is that we can get students coming out of this system, going to do their PhDs and become those researchers, those intellectuals that this country so much desires for. Next reader. I think it's still the same one.
No, it is me, please.
Go ahead.
3.103, qualitative trustworthiness, using Lincoln and Cuba in bracket 1985, credibility in bracket member checking, transferability, thick description, dependability, audit drain, confirmability, reflexive journaling.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this is qualitative trustworthiness. Remember, this is a mixed method. So when you analyze your qualitative data, again, this is not true, gives the wrong impression. This is this. Yeah, what we are saying, according to Lincoln and Guba, Texas A&M, credibility, member checking. So your draft should be thrown to other experts to look at. Transferability, thick description. Somebody said, do we just write these bullets? But and I said, no, I would like to see thick description of what do you mean by validity and reliability? What do you mean by the target population and the sample? And when you get to chapter 4, do I want to enjoy your findings and discussion of the findings, relating your findings to what the literature had said? That is called thick description. Dependability. Can we do an audit trail and we find a nexus where you went, whether it was level 5 or level 6, and conformability is reflexive journaling. I can want to look at your journals, your recordings out there, your pictures that you took, your recordings, to confirm what I'm seeing in your proposal and in your final thesis. Next reader, interest of time, we're moving a little fast.
3.11 data collection procedure, ethical clearance from anacosti, research permits from hospital management, administration of questionnaire that is self-administered, conducting interviews 45 to 60 minutes, audio recording, and verbatim transcription.
Yeah. So we'll want to see these procedures, but we'll also would like to see your evidence. Sometimes, if I doubt your data, I'll ask you to bring me all your questionnaires. And then I will subject them to my own analysis. Some people get at PhD level, by the way, and they are told to go and bring all their questionnaires and their audio recordings. So why don't you keep those records? And of course, ethical clearance and permits, those are obvious. Carry on, the same reader.
3.12 data analysis plan. 3.12.1 quantitative analysis using SPSS, descriptive statistic, mean, standard deviation, and also frequencies, Pearson correlation, multiple regression analysis, structural equation modeling, if models fitness permits.
Yeah, it depends on the depth. I hope that at master's level, under quantitative analysis, you would use SPSS or CMA at Daystar, and that you will be looking at descriptive statistics up to correlation, Pearson correlation. We'll also maybe throw in a multiple regression model. I don't encourage us going to SEM, but if need be, we shall go there. So that's the data analysis plan. And you have to anticipate it before you go out in the field. Let me do this one. The regression model. I'll be very interested. Those of you who are going to do a mixed method study or a quantitative study, and we are looking at several variables, we will set up a regression model where this Y, this one is the dependent variable, the outcome. This beta 0 is the Y-intercept. We have the first variable. So this is the coefficient beta 1, the first variable. Beta 2, the second variable. beta 3, the third variable. And let me just show you, these are not strange things. Huh? Let me show you what I mean. Sorry. Delete. Let me show you what I mean. Just a minute. Sorry about that. Data collection, data analysis. So I'll delete data analysis. Look here. When you take the variables, where are the variables? You see, these are the independent variables. These are the things that cause effect in the dependent variable. So this one, where you saw beta 0, that is the y-intercept when nothing is influencing the outcome. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first variable, beta 1, x1 would be NAS leadership practice, beta 2, x2 transformational leadership, beta 3, x3 communication effectiveness, team empowerment, accountability culture. In other words, if we did set up a real regression model, it would not end at beta 3. No, because we have 5 variables in this nursing study. So we would have had B3, B4, X4, and B5, X5. So there'll be, this is the first variable, second, third, fourth, fifth. And then we have the error term at the end. This is the unexplained circumstances. So today, if you do a regression model and your topic is this one, let's go back to our topic. God, why am I doing this? If we did a regression model and our topic data analysis plan. If we did this, and this is our topic, influence of NAS leadership practices, the Y on the regression model is NAS leadership practices. The beta 1, beta 2, beta 3, beta 4, beta 5 are the patient safety outcomes. And where there is beta 0, that is when none of these variables influence the outcome. We call it the y-intercept. If I did a graph, I would show you. Now, what is important for you is to note that why do you do a regression model here? You want to know the influence of the first variable, the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth. But when you set up regression models, you see like here, you have the safety patient outcomes and then the various independent variables. There is always the error term. This is the unexplained. And you as a researcher could be chasing these variables, but there is something that is unexplained, something that is spurious, something that is lurking in the darkness like a witch, something that you can't explain. Today, if I did a regression model on the whole patient safety outcomes and these aspects of the nurses, maybe the error term is growing bigger and bigger and bigger, and maybe this is the SHA model. You see, in these things, there's no SHA. But as we try to look at the topic itself, this one, the influence of nurse leadership practices on patient safety outcomes, you see, in this study, we have not taken cognizance of the new model of health funding in Kenya. So you can be busy looking at the nursing leadership practices and patient safety outcomes, when there is a bigger variable that you have not put a grip on in your study, that is going to influence and almost destroy the findings of your study. What am I trying to emphasize here? I would like to see some of you excite me by setting up regression models. This one, patient safety outcomes. How do we enhance patient safety outcomes? The outcome. It is transformational leadership, communication, empowerment, and the others that we will be chasing in the study. So this is called a regression model. And this is the error term. And the error term for a researcher is very intriguing. Very, very intriguing. So if you just walk in and you're busy measuring these NASA's transformational leadership, communication, empowerment, vis-a-vis patient safety outcomes, and you don't take into consideration the functioning of the SHA model, this regression model will not hold. And I'll be excited to see what comes out. The next reader. Please, let's hurry up. We have short past time.
3.12.2 Qualitative Analysis. Thematic Analysis. Brown and Clark, 2006. Coding using NVivo.
No, NVivo.
NVivo. Pattern matching. Narrative synthesis.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, once upon a time, people told me, I will do a qualitative study because I don't like statistics. Let me tell you something. Unless you have the needed mastery of language, you'll find it very hard to go through this, even when it is coded for you by NVivo. Pattern matching, narrative synthesis, and themes. It requires a very high mastery of language and reading. And I get excited nowadays because of Guba to read the chapter 4, qualitative aspects of chapter 4, is when you understand the strength of the candidate in terms of language mastery. Continue, Abdul.
It 3.13 Integration of quantitative and qualitative data. Integration will occur at 3 levels. Level 1, method level, concurrent data collection. Level 2, analysis level, joint display matrices. Level 3, that is interpretation level, where we have meta inferences. Joint display table will compare statistical trends, emerging themes, convergences, and divergences. And this aligns with Ayiro's 2024 triangulation and corroboration framework.
Yeah. So integration of qualitative and quantitative data. Please go to your class text. We have method level, how are you collecting the data, analysis level, and then interpretation. So we'll have statistical trends, quantitative, we'll have emerging themes, qualitative, and we shall bring out convergences and divergences. Next reader.
Ethical considerations, informed consent, voluntary participation, confidentiality, anonymity coding, secure data storage, and non-maleficence principles in clinical environments.
Yeah, very important for our nurses. Non-maleficence principles in clinical environments. So you can see this is almost standard. when it comes to ethical considerations. Continue, the reader. The same reader.
Limitations of the study. Self-report bias. 3.15, sorry, limitations of the study. Self-report bias. Cross-sectional design limits. Causality, inference. Then possible institutional data access constraints. Mitigation.
How do we mitigate? Are you there?
Triangulation, objective safety indicators inclusion, mixed methods corroboration.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how we will mitigate those factors. Again, please read your research methodology chapter thoroughly from our reference text. Finally, the last reader read us the chapter summary.
3.16 chapter summary. This chapter has presented a robust mixed methodological framework designed to examine the influence of nurse leadership practices on patient safety outcomes. Guided by Ayiro's 2024 Functional Research Alignment principle and grounded in pragmatic epistemology, the study integrates statistical modeling with contextual qualitative inquiry to produce actionable evidence for nursing, leadership practice, and healthcare policy reform in Kenya.
Thank you. Personally, I've enjoyed the class. I don't know about you. Next week, I want to do a closing seminar, but I want to give you 2 other case studies or 2 other designs, a case study and an ethnographic study. And I know maybe 4-5% will do ethnographic studies, and they need to have the framework to write their chapter 3. This is what it is all about. And the Joseph principle cannot be overemphasized. And the need for grit is indispensable. Thank you for the evening. Over to the coordinator.
Thank you so
Prof, I'm
much.
just curious.
Hello.
Hello. I'm just curious, we don't have delimitations in this after limitations.
We don't have?
Delimitations.
Why? That is already covered in chapter 2. And in chapter 1, I've already covered. I'm assuming we have covered, eh?
Yes, we did cover in chapter 1.
Yeah. Delimitation and limitation. And there is threading over thesis. You notice as you master these areas, you can position it anywhere in your study so long as there is threading and there's meaning. Go ahead, Caro. Can
All
we
right.
go and sleep?
Yes, obviously we're going to sleep. Thank you so much, Prof. Now officially you are done to write your chapter 1 to chapter 3. You are well prepared. You'll always go back to these notes. Again, this is the first cohort, or probably the first in the whole institution, to cover this at this point of time and have students write their proposals. So if you've not clapped a thumbs up, use your thumbs up to appreciate the Vice Chancellor. We will always have these records with you. Now, so we have more of the leadership, and I'm sure it's going to bring Prof. We had nursing students. Apparently, they've been attending the class.
Oh,
so
okay.
from
I
their
was so worried. I wanted them to be here.
yeah, Dr. Susan has just confirmed they've been attending. So we are happy they were here. I think, Mark, this marks the hardest part of the dissertation writing, the thesis writing. The courage for students to write a proposal and defense. Sometimes some of them will never have the courage. Please, can you say something? And then I'll give someone, if this is the host in Kenya, I would say give someone from out of the country, Kenya, and then we mark that so that we can start embarking on writing. our progressively. I hope to schedule your defenses next semester, all of you, when you're done completely with your proposal. Yes, and of course, this semester you're going to have your supervisors. Mark is the president in? Oh, Mark dropped. I had actually co-hosted you a little bit earlier, Mark. I don't know if you're still in. So Mark is not yet in, is probably dropped down. I'll go and give it to Ruth Beth.
Yes, I'm here, Daktari.
Because you represent, if Kenya is the host, you represent the diaspora. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ruth. How has learning been?
Yeah, I want to say a big thank you to Prof for his selfless guidance. He has really held our hands right from the start up to this point, and we can only be grateful for his sacrifice. And I want to believe that we are getting more and more sharpened for the task. So I really want to express my appreciation to him and also to you, Dr. Caro, for always being here for us. You help us to understand so many things, and you shed a lot of light on our path, and we are really grateful for all that. I've really enjoyed the lesson. I've been able to follow through, and I want to thank all my colleagues also for all the questions they have raised. Sometimes someone asks a question and you realize that actually you also have the same question. You just didn't know that you had that question. So thank you, everyone. And I believe we are really going to do well in this. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Caroline, School of Nursing. You've been here from January to now, as we were going to release you for writing up your... Yes, Caroline, award.
Thank you, Daktari. Yes, it's my pleasure, and I'm humbled to be asked to speak. Thank you very much. From the School of Nursing, we are grateful to be considered, and especially for the new program of the nursing education. As you all know that right now the nursing profession is growing greatly, and there is need for knowledge. We need researchers, we need policymakers, we need people who can turn around the profession and make it shine, not only locally, but also internationally. So I and my colleagues are glad to be here and also to interact with the rest of our cohort from the university. Thank you very much, Professor, for the mentorship. We always miss these classes. I mean, we look forward to them. It is a great blessing to be in this program. Research has been a headache to professionalism, and this one cuts across, not only for nursing alone. And we are glad that we are able to fit in very well because the language is simplified and kind of the fear is driven away. You know, sometimes even these calculations, when we look at them, somehow the fear tends to want to come, but Professor knows how to ice it so well until you feel like this is my stuff. So we are really feeling that we belong, and we will make it. We are going to make changes by changing ourselves first, then changing the world, because you can't change the world if you cannot change yourself. Thank you also for the discipline talks that we've been having. It means a lot to us, and it is a very, very unique kind of formation. I feel very humbled to be associated together with my cohort, not only nursing, but this third cohort class. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Magdalene, if you're on the call, please dispatch the two presentations. Don't dispatch the one on ethnographic case study, these first two.
Okay. Magdalene, probably she's I'll do it. I think Magda. Yes, I'll do it. So thank you so much. And Meshach usually posts once we give him, he does that. Thank you so much. So Abraham, as you pray, final word, and then classes are still on. It's just that we have finished this part. So we will be having guided classes. You keep writing, and we will now be going to your questions and answers and anytime for these Thursdays. But we have our classes still going on. So we're just simply saying we finished this part. Abraham, you are always the first on the list in every list we give because your letter is in the air. Finally say something and then we close. Abraham? Yes.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity, Doctor. I'm happy. My name is always the first, but that doesn't go with, I haven't received my my feedback.
No,
I thought I
you
would
get
have
them.
received it at the first.
It confirms wa kwanza sio wa kwanza na kwa saa zingine wa mwisho. Go ahead.
Thank you, Prof. We enjoyed the class. I think we are ready to take into the next level.
Yeah.
And we will promise to commit and operate within the timeline so that we're able to finish. And thank you for always holding our hands. Yeah. Maybe now we bow down for the word of prayer. Heavenly Father, we bow before you this evening. We glorify your name. We thank you, Father, for the lesson we just had. And also for this evening, Father, as we want to go and head for a rest, Father, that you may give us a calm night, Father. For our studies, Father, that you may impact our us, be with us, even together with the lecturers, all the facilitators, Father, together with all fellow students, Father, that all that we're going to do, we may do it for your glory. May you give us the mind that may be registered, also maybe give us the mind that may be able to remember all that we have been taught. Above all, we ask you, Father, that you may forgive us our sins, that which we may have committed, maybe knowingly or unknowingly, Father. And also send the blood of your Son, Jesus Christ, Father, to cleanse us, Father. We beseech you and we pray, for this is our humble prayer.